For a pompous jerk, you're a good reviewer.
I'm a what?
Wow, I really don't know how to respond to that one. That was a bit weird. You're pompous and yet you're a good reviewer. I don't like to think I'm coming across as pompous. If I am, I apologise. I don't like to think of myself as pompous. But anyway, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin. I'm a geek. You have been watching. No, you have been. No, you are watching Kevin the Geek. I don't know why. I have to apologise right now because this and also yesterday's responding to your comments video. I feel that I am probably rabbiting along at a rapid pace. I do not know why. I've not had loads of energy drinks. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm so excited to actually be able to record these videos for you again. So yes, yesterday I would have done my responding to your comments video for June, which of course was about a month late. Now we're doing the one for all the comments left on videos that were released in July. So yeah, much more recent. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you like what you see here. Kicking straight off with the reaction to Crime Traveller. A big servant of nostalgia there. Now I want to revisit the rest of the series and see more tense scenes of Slade edging along drain pipes. It was a very fun show to do. So the person who requested this over on Patreon, for this month, for August, so the one released in August or September on YouTube, they basically said, you know what, you can either do another episode of Crime Traveller or another episode of Superground. I'll kind of leave it up to you. So if I can find another episode of Crime Traveller, I kind of want to do that, because I think that'll be fun. And then after that, because by the time that comes out on Patreon, the episode Superground will be coming out on YouTube. I don't quite know how that is going to be responded to yet, but people quite seem to like the reaction to Crime Traveller, so I wouldn't mind seeing another episode of that, if I can find it, of course. From the Idiot Abroad episode, the Carl Comes Home, was it Carl Comes Home? I don't know, it was one of the episodes anyway. Using the word pants instead of trousers is common in the Northwest, certainly where I am in Liverpool and clearly Manchester too. The only exception is if they go with a suit or formal wear, then we'd call them kecks. Hope I've cleared that up. I mean, you have and you haven't at the end of the day. I mean, I've never personally heard of it. I'm not disbelieving you. Do not get me wrong. I'm not disbelieving you, but I've never heard of anyone, up that way, Liverpool, Manchester way, call them pants instead of trousers. I just presume that's more of an American / Canadian, whatever thing. So hey, if they do, they do. Don't know why they would call them kegs. I mean, I've heard kegs. Kegs is a term I'm more familiar with, that I do think of as trousers, as a slang kind of abbreviation term for it. Not necessarily if they go with like suits or formal, just literally trousers in general, just going, oh, you're going to get your kegs on. Yeah, I think it's just like a bit of a northern, I don't know if it's fully northern or if it's like northwest or anything. Because like my nan, for example, from like Yorkshire way, I've heard her mention it kind of in the past. So, hey, I don't know. It's great to see some family comedy with the bad language. I don't mind bits of bad language, but I think there's too much swearing nowadays, which I think is a very valid and fair point. I mean, it does depend, I think, on what you're into. One thing that somebody suggested I watch, I can't remember what it was for. I have a feeling it was Brett. Brett seems to recommend a lot of stuff to me. But I think he was talking about like Roy Chubby Brown, which I kind of know of. I think partly because it was mentioned in the royal family. Like Twiggy was absolutely disgusting. It's bloody marvellous. Or something along those lines. So I think it depends on who you are, what kind of demographic you are. I think there is a place for content and things that have bad language. I think there is a place for the good old simple family entertainment. It's finding your audience in the right way. Obviously, if it comes up in something you're not expecting it, and yeah, you may be a bit kind of different with that one. But yeah, that's where I think we are with that. Be careful with the Only Fools and Horses Christmas specials, particularly after Series 5, as you will want to keep the episodes in chronological order. In fact, it's really important that you do so. I have, I think, found my way of doing, Christmas related content now, because like I've basically got my December planned out. I had literally, it's the only full month between now and the end of the year that I have got fully planned out. There's a couple of videos that I've pre-recorded that I did last year as sort of Patreon exclusives. And then there's a lot of episodes of stuff that have been sort of fitting in the gap. So like, for example, I've got like, I think there'll be like in total probably 4 outnumbered Christmas specials. There's 3 dinner ladies Christmas specials. There's 3 not going out Christmas specials. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 One Foot in the Grave Christmas specials, if all my calculations have come right. So the way that I've been doing them is I am literally, so for example, let's say outnumbered, I finish whatever series that I'm doing, I then record the Christmas special that comes next. I'll upload it early to Patreon, so it's there, ready and waiting, and then I will obviously release that in December, but I will carry on YouTube in the present, releasing, going on to Series 5 or whatever. And that way I've found to be really good, so that I am keeping things chronological, so I know exactly what's going on, and I'm following the storylines. It may be a little bit out of sync for you guys when it comes to December and anything, but I'm making it very clear this is what it is. And when I put them in the playlist, it will be in the right order. So if you come to something after December and you go back and see the playlist, you'll see that it fits in where it should do within all of that. So yeah, that's what I'll be planning. I have heard a lot of the Only Fools and Horses Christmas specials are not especially Christmassy, so I will make a judgment call with those ones when I eventually do those. If I feel it's not Christmassy, even though it's a Christmas special, I will probably end up just releasing them chronologically on YouTube. If I feel it's Christmas related, then I will probably delay it like I have been and just make it very clear that's what I'm doing. For Outnumbered, this was a funeral episode. Very interesting kind of conversation, debate that we had around death and how you talk about it with kids. Ella said, I think it depends for each child, honestly. I've been attending funerals ever since I can remember. I'm from a very, very large family and have been to at least 30 funerals in the 16 years I've been living. As a young person myself, I think it's incredibly important for children to slowly be opened up to the concept of death and being able to say goodbye, which I think is an absolutely, valid suggestion. And I think you do have to be careful. Maybe not careful is not the right word, but you've obviously got to treat it with the sensitivity that it deserves. How old is the the right age? When it is too young. How young is too young, kind of thing. And like I said, my nephew actually is one of the good examples of that. He is he's turning 5 in October of this year. And it was his, I just have to work out the years for a second, sorry. It was his 2nd birthday when my nan, my beloved nan, she passed away on his birthday. So, had he been 1 year old, it probably wouldn't have needed to do anything. He obviously wouldn't have remembered or anything. But 2, he was starting to have really good, he's always had really good memories, to be fair, but especially, with people, he really remembers people. And it was very difficult. I was thinking, how do you broach this subject to a 2-year-old? How can you say to somebody that you're never going to see them again? How do you introduce death as a part of life? As much as someone gets born, people die. And my sister went down the route of basically saying, great grandma has given you the best present that she can. She has turned into an angel. She is now up in the sky. She's up in heaven. She's looking over you, and she's going to watch over you, and she's going to protect you. And that's pretty much, as much as it was. She, although you won't see her again, she is there. She is within your heart if you think about her. If you feel happy or you feel sad, that's okay. And we just kept it very basic. Not overly complicating him. And today, as I'm recording this, I actually went back to where my nan, where we buried her ashes, in Sherwood Forest. That's where most of my family grew up, and it's a real a special place for us. So she's within the cemetery in Sherwood Forest, and it was interesting because we went there after visiting like one of my mum's best friends, who her husband is sadly, he has terminal cancer, and we don't know, we don't know how long he's got left. So we went up for like a barbecue and tried to just have like a really nice family kind of gathering and to to not exactly pay our respects, but to celebrate him, and also it was kind of his and his wife's 30th wedding anniversary, around about the similar sort of time. So it kind of worked in a way as well as that. And that's the thing. I spoke to his daughter, and I just asked about her kids, who are 7 and 5, I think. I just said, like, how much do they know? How much they kind of know the situation as like. We've not really discussed it, and that's the thing. Maybe sometimes if you introduce it at a young age, it's easier to deal with because the concept is a bit easier. Maybe when they're a bit older, it then gets harder to try and explain it, even though they probably know what it is. But that it's a lot harder, to say goodbye to your grandfather when you much more aware and conscious, and you literally live around the corner from them. So, yeah, very, very interesting debate, and we could have a conversation like this until the cows come home. Whew, sorry, that went a bit deep, that one. Find it weird how people get lots more views than you, and you are a better reactor. Well, thank you, I guess. You know what the thing is? I don't really care about the views. As stupid as that may seem, I mean, to a certain degree, yes, I do care about views. I want more people to see it and more people to appreciate the effort that I put into putting stuff together. But at the same time, I have such a close-knit community, that I can do this. I can do things like this, like where I respond to your comments. Whereas if I had 1 million viewers, would I be able to do it in the same way? I'd have to go through thousands potentially of comments each video, and I wouldn't be able to have probably as much of a close-knit, sharing of ideas as I do. And I know a lot of people really do appreciate the time that I take to do this. So, yeah, I mean, yes, maybe it'd be nice to have more views and maybe like get to 100,000 and get one of those, big YouTube play buttons. That'd be quite cool. But I do this because I want to have fun. I want to smile. I want to entertain people, sometimes through them seeing through things through my eyes, sometimes to give you a bit of perspective on a different viewpoint, from a very unique point of view from my side. But most importantly, I do it for you guys. I mean, originally I started this channel more for me, from selfish reasons, that I was a bit bored, I was a bit lonely, through kind of coming out at the end of lockdown, and I obviously did things a little bit late. A lot of people were starting stuff like sort of 2020. I started sort of September 22. So pretty much we're coming out of everything by that point. But I started doing some stuff just to sort of alleviate my boredom to a certain degree, and to just, do something, and in a way feel like I had someone to talk to. Because by that point as well, like my best friend, he met his now wife during COVID. Well, I mean, technically they sort of matched on like Tinder like just before the first lockdown, but then obviously lockdown happens, so they couldn't meet each other, so they didn't meet each other properly in the flesh till like June of 2020. So by 2022, when I'm doing this, they're living together. My friend's got a really good job, and he's starting to progress and everything. And I was, like my other friends, like they're already married, they've got kids and stuff. My best friend there, he's obviously living with her. They get a dog together. I can't remember if they got engaged by that point or it was kind of in the borderlines with that. So yeah, maybe I was just feeling a bit lonely. So that's where I started it, from very selfish reasons. Now I just do it for you guys. I only found this out a couple of years ago, but Freddie was suffering with a throat infection at the time that he did the Band-Aid Live Aid performance. Indeed, he had been advised by doctors not to go ahead with the performance. Obviously, those orders fell on deaf ears, and thank God 2 years ago, thank God, end of sentence, sorry. 2 years ago, I undertook a 48-hour Queen marathon to mark 50 years since the release of their debut album. I listened to all 15 studio albums, several live albums, and all the band's solo albums, as well as the non-album singles and B-sides, Queen and solo. And I managed to raise over £200 for the Mercury Phoenix Trust, which is an effort that has to be commended. I mean, trying to do anything for even like a 24-hour marathon is hard enough. To do something for 48 hours, kudos to you, Brett. I mean, I cannot think of something that would be more pleasurable, to be honest, to do than to literally just go, I'm going to listen to Queen for 48 hours non-stop. That was, a great one with that one. We did have a follow-up comment to that one, where, about Freddie Mercury and his throat infection. Susan said after the concert, he said it felt like he was singing with a throat full of glass shards. And I think, you know what? I didn't know that at the time that I'm obviously watching the performance for the first time. After reading that comment, I did sort of go back and listen to a couple of bits more again, and she's like, there's no way you can hear that. And that just goes to show, again, what an absolute goat Freddie Mercury is as a performer. You said everything about Queen, and I really did, and how, Queen are only Queen because of the band, not just Freddie Mercury. But obviously, again, without Freddie, it would be a very different band. The next two comments were related to the Fat Friends episode, Series 2, Episode 6, where it very emotionally affected me. It's going to sound like a really weird thing to say, but is one of the reactions I'm probably the most proud of, and my outro to that as well, I'm very proud of, which that could come across like the most egotistical, self-indulgent kind of thing, and I hope it doesn't come across like that, because ultimately that episode, as well as quite a few episodes of Fat Friends, it has just touched me so emotionally that I really let out a lot of raw emotions, and I think I'm proud of myself because of the fact that I was able to release those emotions and do it. And we got a couple of comments from that. So Gillian said, you should be proud for not having let the bad experiences of the past turn you into a bully as an adult. Perhaps they have contributed to a degree to your kind, caring and accepting nature now. Well done. It's precious to come across such qualities in today's world. And Brett said, kind of along the same kind of lines. Wow, from the bottom of my heart, Kevin, thank you for that utterly heartfelt speech at the end. Never be afraid to show your emotions. We love you for you. The content is a bonus. You are genuine and unapologetically yourself. That is to be admired. Those words were beautiful, my friend. It was very difficult, really, really difficult to speak as openly as I did. And it's not just me that gets affected by things. In one of the Thin Ladies episodes, Emmy just said, I really needed this today, thank you. And that's the thing with what I do. I think that's what people forget, is how I originally started this was for selfish reasons, and what I have inadvertently done without realizing it, I am doing things that puts smiles on people's faces, that gives them joy, that gives them relief sometimes from really difficult moments of their lives. Obviously, what I'm about to say, I'm not going to reveal anything about said person. Don't even bother asking. I will not say. But there was somebody who did kind of open up to me privately recently within the channel, someone from the community, who made it quite clear that they've been having a bit of a difficult time lately. And ultimately, what they also said was they have also struggled in the past with some difficult times. And through my content, through watching shows that they have loved, through watching my reactions, getting to relive it, again, kind of through me, it gives them hope, it gives them joy, it gives them strength and various things like that. And that means the world to me, more than any amount of views could ever get, more than any money that I could potentially even contemplate making on this journey. That is nothing. Knowing that I've made a difference to one of you people is all that I need. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you to you guys. Still on the dinner ladies thing, this show has so many lines that I quote without thinking, then I have to explain because a lot of people have no taste in quality comedy. If someone hands me something to read, my first reaction is often size 24, wedding dress never worn. That was a good line. The constant high quality of this show never fails to impress me. Yeah, I think that's what is so great with this show. It does have a lot of quotable a lot of quotable comment lines and stuff, but most importantly, just some amazing characters and lines and just everything. There's no more enjoyable day than I have in a month at the moment than going, I get to record Dinner Ladies again today. Yay! Honestly, I cannot hide the smile on my face when I'm at work that day. And it was just like, why are you so happy today? And I'm just like, well, I could tell you. I'm not going to tell you. Because that's the thing. Again, I don't like, it's a weird thing. I don't like to kind of talk about it too much with like friends and family and stuff. I mean, like, some people know about it, but I don't know. It feels weird to talk about it. Like, yeah, I do reactions on YouTube. It's a weird, I don't know, it's weird. I don't know. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So glad to see you do this. I used to listen to the radio series as my comfort show when I was a teenager. Read Douglas Adams' other books too, and even went, excuse me, to finish his grave at Highgate Cemetery. Holds a big place in my heart. My second Comic-Con costume I ever did was Arthur Dent, before and after which I did 2 versions of Arnold Rimmer from Red Dwarf. Great. These are the voices I hear when I read the books. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, I'm going to hiccups now. I mean, yeah, I've done one Comic-Con kind of thing where I dressed up as someone, and I also did Arnold Rimmer, as you may have seen from, well, one of those British Empire videos, which is still blocked, which I'm still trying to find the time to download them and re-upload them, and I will get there, I promise. The Hitchhiker's Guide to Galaxy, obviously I've now done 2 episodes. The second episode is live currently on Patreon. I think it's going to be a monthly show pretty much now from my Patreon Super Geek. So yeah, you got that to look forward to. And yeah, there's something very charming, very British, something just very oddly, I don't know, engaging and thrilling to watch. Yeah, there's something about it which is just phenomenal. So yeah, I'm glad you've introduced me to it, and I'm really keen to see where we go moving up. Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, that was another suggestion. That was for my Patreon Wheelspin winner. So if you don't know, each month you can get a guaranteed reaction if you win the Patreon prize draw, which I do each month during the monthly plan videos, which I release on Patreon. Ultimately, as long as you're a paid member of any level on Patreon, you'll get entered into that prize draw. That month was Enter the Matrix there. He chose Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, which I did the first episode for. He said, I thought this would be right up your alley. Didn't expect to nearly kill you, though. And there's definitely been a lot of videos lately that I have been genuinely worried while I'm watching. I'm thinking, I could die, and someone could find me literally lying in my chair going, because I've died from laughter. Oh, dear. With Darth Marenghi's Dark Place, you have to watch the full series. Understand? Crystal clear. I definitely would like to see him. On the Goodnight Sweetheart episode, this is this is series 4, episode 1. So this was literally the episode where we have recast both Yvonne and Phoebe in the show. I watched this originally as a kid, didn't even notice that they recast them. I think I just identified them by the hairdos, which is why I got so confused with Yvonne at the start of the episode. As a kid, though, they could have stuck a blonde curly wig on Reg and called him Yvonne, and I would have believed it. Well, that's fair. This new Yvonne, though, I like her a lot. For one, she doesn't do my head in when she starts nagging at Gary. Instead, it comes across as cute or funny, which makes it for better viewing. The old Phoebe was strong, independent, and a complicated character. Dervla Cohen did an amazing job of building this character. She was Gary's equal, and when she spoke, You didn't know what direction their relationship would go. This new Phoebe is smiley 1940s housewife type who is smitten with Gary and is just there. It's a bit of a Vivian Banks type situation. The actress had watered down this character so much, but bizarrely, I love the new Phoebe more and I think she's healthier for the show. I prefer the new versions of both women. As for the episode itself, it was pants, as in sword and pants. I've literally just watched it to see your reaction, and already I can barely remember what happened. Something to do with some watches? Well, a lot to unpick there. I mean, I quite liked the episode. I thought it was all right. It was not a bad one. Which was difficult when you have to juggle in, the fact that you've got two new actresses. And what I basically said, and again, at this time, I've still only seen that episode. I've not seen the next two episodes, which I'm doing for August. It is. I felt there was a very, very clear distinction between old Phoebe and new Phoebe, where Devil Kierwan, she, like you said, it was strong, independent, a feisty woman, whereas the new one, I can't remember who played her, I apologise for that one, and I get what you mean when she says she's like that smiley 40s housewife type. She does feel a little bit, from that one singular episode, like she could be the kind of typical housewife who appears on these like radio dramas or in those, those really sexist old TV ads where the woman's kind of like, oh yes, I'm waiting. Hello, dear husband. Welcome in. Can I get your coat? Can I make you some tea? What can I do for you, oh master? It's that kind of old, really cheesy, misogynistic advert. But with Phoebe being pregnant, I wonder if that's more the Phoebe that we do need for that. Although it would be interesting to see the Dervla Kierwan's version of pregnant Phoebe and presumably then later mum Phoebe. So yeah, I will get a better sense of it as I see more of them in more episodes. It's very interesting that I think we're along the same kind of lines. Obviously, I presume that you've seen more of the episodes than I have. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see exactly what happens. I think that's the last one. Yep, that is the last comment. So thank you so very much for watching. We're nearly at midnight. I'm going to start editing these tomorrow, hopefully to get them out next weekend, which will be the where are we? The 9th and 10th of August. That will be my plan. Fingers crossed, all being well. So yeah, thank you so very much for watching. As always, please do subscribe, turn on the notifications, drop your comments below. Most importantly, so that you can potentially feature in next month's iteration of responding to your comments. Also join the Patreon if you would like to get the early access, exclusive content, or the chance to get your own guaranteed reactions. But until next time, my name's Kevin. I am a geek with a very drying voice. You've been watching Kevin the Geek. Goodbye.